What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Blake here with the Nerdtastic Voyage, coming at you today with Week 1 of the Quarantine Draft League. And as you guys can see on my screen right now, I don't have the team that I drafted, I have my opponent's team. This week, my opponent's team, his name is OKStad. I don't think he's got a YouTube channel. If he does, I will find out and link it in the description. Otherwise, I will also have other coaches in this league with their links in the description, so you can check them out, check out the battles that they're recording. It's all going to be fun. I'll also leave a link to our Discord if you guys want to hop in and just have a fun time talking about Pokemon with the boys, because that's what it is. That's all we do. Anyways, so we're going to go over his team real quick, things I'm going to think that he's bringing, and then go from there into the battle so you guys can see how it happened. This will be post-recorded, so just keep that in mind. So first thing he drafted, well, first and foremost, I have to let you guys know, this is a National Dex Draft League. So that means pretty much any Pokemon are available. As I explained in my first video on this topic, if you guys haven't checked that out, please go back and do that before watching this. So that's the reason you can see some of the Pokemon that he has drafted that aren't technically legal in Gen 8, but because of the way we're doing the draft, they completely are. So he drafted Tapu Koko, very scary threat, huge special attacker. He drafted Keldeo, another huge threat. Darmanitan, probably, I want to say it's either the biggest threat on his team or right up there with Tapu Koko. Then he drafted Goodra. Then he's got Archeops, Licky, and then for the rest of his team, he's got Donphan, Porygon Z, and Serena. Now, looking at his team, I figured, okay, Tapu Koko's definitely coming because it's the strongest special attacker he's got on his team. I figured Keldeo would probably be coming as well. It's a water type, strong against Landorus, which is the strongest Pokemon on my team, by far and away. So I figured he'd be bringing Keldeo. Darmanitan, I figured he'd be bringing Darmanitan, because why the heck not? I figured he'd be bringing Donphan for a Rapid Spinner / Rock Setter. Archeops also could set rocks and use Defog, so either one of those I figured I'd see coming. I figured Porygon Z probably would show up because he's just strong as heck. I think he wanted to grab Porygon 2, but Porygon 2 had already been taken, that late in the draft. So he couldn't get Porygon 2, but he got Porygon Z, which is pretty much the next best thing. But those were pretty much the mons I thought were coming. I figured Tapu Koko, Keldeo, Darmanitan, Donphan, Porygon Z, and probably Serena to deal with Quagsire that I was going to bring for Keldeo. So that's what I figured he was bringing. So, now that we've talked about that, let's go ahead and hop into the match real quick. I'm going to get it pulled up. I'm going to make a quick cut right here, and then I will be right back. Alrighty, so here we have the battle. I'm going to press play here in just a second. I'm going to let it run at normal speed, and if I need to pause it for anything like that, to explain moves or ideas that I had during the moves, I will do so. I'm going to turn the music off just to make sure, because that gets really loud. So here we go. First turn, he sends out Porygon Z. I send out Electivire because I brought Electivire because I wanted to have switch initiative. I'm gonna swap sides real quick just to get my view of things. So anyways, I sent in Electivire because he's got Volt Switch. I wanted switch initiative. As you guys can see, this is the team I brought. I brought Electivire to handle his Keldeo. Also Archeops if he brought Archeops. Plus Electivire's just got a really good overall move pool. He could be run as a special attacker or a physical attacker, so I figured why not. And he's got switch initiative, so that's why I sent him in first here. I brought Lando because he's strong, fast, and he's got Intimidate, which is great for Darmanitan. He typically would wall a Darmanitan. So that's why I brought him, plus he's just the best on the team. I brought Amoonguss also for Keldeo. I realized after I started the battle that one of the moves I brought on Amoonguss I shouldn't have. He had Spore and Toxic. I didn't want to bring two status moves on the same Pokemon. I don't know why I did, because I had Toxic already on Quagsire. I guess it was just a brain fart at the time of team building. I figure I meant to have something along the lines of like Sludge Bomb or something. Substitute probably is what I was looking for. Substitute would have been very helpful as well. Then I brought Cobalion for Porygon. I brought Togekiss to handle Goodra and Serena. Togekiss doesn't really handle the Goodra because the moveset I brought didn't have a Fairy type move, but he does wall Goodra. But anyways, enough about the team. You guys see my team? We're going to go ahead and jump right into the game, and I'll explain my moves as they happen. So he goes for Tri-Attack straight off. I figured he would outspeed. I didn't really figure he would outspeed, but I went out into Cobalion. I figured a close combat right there would be fine, because nothing on his team really wanted to take it. I think maybe Goodra would have been a better swap in there, but I guess his Serena was pretty defensive. Anyways, I also run Volt Switch on this Cobalion, so I knew, and he's one of the higher speed tiers. Probably, I mean, he's faster than Lando, if that tells you anything. So I knew anything he sent in here, because I knew he wasn't going to let Porygon Z stay in and just take it close combat like that. Anything that swapped in, I would be able to Volt Switch on the next turn. So that's why I went ahead and close combated there. Got the Volt Switch off because nothing he has is immune. He used U-turn the same turn to get the Switch initiative, and he goes into Darmanitan. Scares out my Amoonguss, which has Regenerator. So he gets the HP back that he lost there. So, I mean, he didn't really... The U-turn was pointless other than getting him the Switch initiative. He goes out into Darmanitan. I go out into Quagsire. Darmanitan Flare Blitzes. And, so you can see there he took the damage from the Flare Blitz. I went for a Toxic on the Switch because nothing he had was immune to it. He went for the Toxic on my Switch, and that's kind of where the deal broke down for Togekiss. I went for Flinch Hacks here because I was running Thunder Wave Air Slash on this Togekiss, and I knew. Now that right there, that was such a lucky. Because, well, Togekiss didn't have max special attack, I'm pretty sure. I think I invested some into speed so he could outspeed a few things and get Thunder Waves off. And the rest was in HP, because you kind of want Togekiss to be a bulky mon. So I didn't invest 252 into special attack. And I feel like that was the reason Serena lived that Air Slash right there, because I feel like it definitely shouldn't have, from already being half health. But anyways, let's continue. And also, I'd like to comment on how ballsy of a move it was to send in a Serena. Just like, I think he might have been sending it in just to sack it off, but then it lived. So, I mean, and then right there it dies. I did outspeed it and kill it. As you guys can see, Togekiss is kind of going down already, so I was just kind of like, you know what, I'll let it go down. I'm going to get the Thunder Wave off on the Porygon Z. That way it's slower. That way, hopefully, Electivire can knock it out. And it didn't. I used Discharge because it's 80 base power with Stab, plus it has a 30% chance to paralyze. I used that over Thunderbolt. Had I used Thunderbolt, I probably would have knocked the Porygon Z out right there, so I know that for the future. I'm going to be going power over Paralysis with Electivire here, only because I have Mons that can Thunder Wave and get Paralysis anyways. So he Tri-Attacks, it takes out the Electivire. Things aren't looking too good. And then he Tri-Attacks again on Amoonguss. Amoonguss will get the Giga Drain off, knocking out the Porygon Z. Then he sends out Licky Licky. And this thing has Heal Bell, which I was not prepared for. I went for Giga Drain to get a little chip off, get my HP back, and then he goes for Wish, and I put him to sleep. Now, I switch out to Cobalion, and he's going to sit here sleeping for a turn, get his Wish HP back, and then he switches out into Gudra. I went for a taunt, just on the off chance that he stayed in on Licky Licky. He didn't, so I went out into Quagsire. I think I was figuring a Scald would be coming through. I didn't feel like he was going to go straight for a Draco Meteor on a... Well, I thought Scald or Flamethrower. I didn't figure he was going to be going for a Draco Meteor on a Steel-type Pokemon, so I figured that was a safe switch. He called my switch and went right for the Draco, knocking out my Quagsire. And then he switches out into Licky Licky. I used Toxic, it's already asleep, so he went for Heal Bell, which also failed, so that turn was kind of stagnant. Giga Drain to get some chip off. I realized there that Giga Drain's really not going to be doing it for me. But he actually switches, and I just kept going for Giga Drains. He switched to get the Darmanitan his HP back. And then he Flare Blitzes Amoonguss because I didn't want to sack off Landorus or Cobalion for him to just get a free kill on one of the two more powerful mons on my team. So I sack off Amoonguss there to hopefully have some type of setup available for me with Landorus. So switching to Landorus here. And I get the Intimidate off, so I don't think he's going to stay in. So I'm... oop. Get back to where we were. We'll cut here. Okay. So he switches out because he got the Intimidate. And when he switches out, I go for the Sword Stance. And then I go for the Earthquake, obliterating the Gudra. Now what I didn't know is whether or not this Darmanitan was Choice Band or Choice Scarf. Choice Band, he would have been able to take me out only if I didn't EQ him and knock him out, which I would have. Choice Scarf, he outspeeds, and then he's got a 50-50 shot of taking me out with one Flare Blitz at max attack. And just so happens, Flare Blitz one-shots the Landorus, and that right there pretty much sealed the deal. I go out into Cobalion. Cobalion doesn't outspeed because of the Choice Scarf. He takes himself out with me, and that's the game. Now, I learned quite a bit watching back over it. I learned, Electivire should definitely have Thunderbolt over Discharge if I have already got Pokemon on the team that can Thunder Wave anyways. I learned to bring a Fairy-type move on Togekiss and possibly give her a little more special attack investment. Moongus, I just kind of flubbed on that. I kind of flubbed when I gave him both Toxic and Spore. That was on me. That was a brain fart moment. I feel like I could have probably had some more versatility with him there if I had Substitute or something like that. I learned Darmanitan can one-shot a Landorus with Flare Blitz. And I learned that Cobalion is probably a better lead with Switch Initiative, just because he scares Pokemon out more than Electivire would. If I would have led with Cobalion and he would have led Porygon Z, it might have been a completely different game, because he might have switched out right away, and then I got the Volt Switch off for free. And it's hindsight. It's hindsight. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. My buddy who I played against, he is a great guy. If he's got a YouTube channel, definitely check it out. If not, then be sure to check out the other coaches' YouTube channels in the description. And that is the game for week 1. We will bounce back next week, hopefully get a win, but you guys will definitely be seeing it here on the channel of Nerdtastic Voyage. Peace.